Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on January 17th, 2018. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 14, 25, 35, 58, and 69. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 18 orange, 7 green, 18 blue, and 12 purple. Now these colors change with every single drawing. Okay, over to the far right, this 194. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And out of this 194, 103 have come up a 3-color combination. 72 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 16 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 3 drawings out of 194 have all 5 colors come up together. Okay, and never has it been just one color. Okay, so this number right here, this 3, this tells me how many colors just came up in the drawing. Okay, so you can see that there's 1 blue, 2 green, and 2 orange for 3 colors total. Okay, so since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no green numbers will be coming up. And the reason why is because green has come up in the last 4 drawings, and before that it came up in 3 drawings, okay? And since there's only 7 numbers total, I'm just going to guess that no green numbers will be coming up in this drawing. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, to save time, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, and this is what the game card looks like with no green numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick, and none of these green numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is the master for all the numbers are at the very top here. Okay, and over here are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 14, 25, 35, 58, and 69. Okay, so that turns out to be a 5-group hit. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's 7 groups total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is that this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so far there's been 3 out of 5, so there's 2 more left here. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5 because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so here in the individual numbers, I like to break things down into 5 because if there's a lot of hits within this 5 groups of drawings, then maybe the next five groups won't have so many hits, okay? And vice versa. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up, okay? And the reason why is because a 30 number has come up in the last 5 consecutive drawings, okay? So I just don't think there'll be a 6. So I'm going to eliminate the 30 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this back up. Go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no green numbers from the color code and now no 30 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, and that includes the power play. Okay, so I'm betting $3 that no green numbers will be coming up in the color code, and I'm going to parlay that bet with no 30 numbers coming up in the individual numbers. Okay, so it's kind of like just betting on sports bets for me. Okay, instead of taking the Lakers +3 or the Celtics -2, I just bet on whether a group of numbers are going to come up or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of parlay bets here on that $3 bet. Okay, so I'm going off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the numbers into 4 different groups and put colors to them. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerballs come up, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball homepage, the 5 white winning numbers were the 14, 25, 35, 58, and 69. Okay, so the 14 was here in the blue. Okay, so I put a 1 down here in the blue area. Okay, and then the next was the 25, which is right here, so I put a 1 down here in the red. Okay, then the next one was the 35 and the 58, so I put 2 down here in the orange. And the last one was the 69 right here, so I put 1 in the green. Okay, so when all these 5 white winning Powerball numbers hit each one of these colors, I call that a row. Okay, so that way I could go back into the history and see how many and where the rows are. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'd like to turn your attention over to option card number 2. Okay, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so here you can see the 0 in the green area. Okay, so that means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this green area over here. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up here in group 1. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that there was no winning numbers here in this green area, I could have eliminated all these green numbers off of the game card and really reduced the odds for myself. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards that give me as many options as possible of where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so for my first guess, I'm going to guess at number 8, no red numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 8 right here. And I'm going to guess that there's a 0 going to be right here. Okay, so the reason why I'm taking this is that over here in the green area, you can see that there was 2 zeros right in a row. Okay, so over here, you can see that this is a single 0, single 0, single 0. And as I go down, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros all the way down to here. Okay, where it doubled up. So I just think that it's due to double up. Again, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll to the right. And you can see underneath the game card, it says Group 1, option card number 8, no red numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 1. I'm sorry, Group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card number 12, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's option card 12 right here. Okay, and here's the orange. And down here's the stats. You can see that it hit 15 drawings in a row. Okay, but most importantly, you can see that there's 2 rows over here in a row. Okay, so usually after 2, there's usually a 0 somewhere around here. Okay, I mean every once in a while it will go 3 rows like over here, but most of the time it just goes 2 and then there's a 0 at some point. Okay, so since this one has 15 consecutive drawings in a row, I'm just going to guess at this one. Okay, so I hope that there's going to be a 0 here. So I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see that all these are gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my last pick is going to be option card 15, no blue numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because every once in a while you see that there's 3 zeros in a row. Okay, so as I scroll down here, you can see that there was 3 over here in the green, and there's 3 over here in the red. Okay, and now there's 3 over here in the orange. Okay, but as I go down in this blue section, you can see that there was never 3 zeros in a row. Okay, so I just think that this is a good opportunity for that to happen, since it's never happened before. Okay, so I'm just going to guess that this is going to be a third 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see that showing you step by step on how I'm using my game. Okay, so if I'm correct with all my picks, then the 5 white winning numbers should come up within one of these highlighted color numbers that are still on the board. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is over here. I'm going to point out this red area. Okay, so down here I keep the stats for this red area right here. And you can see this 0. That means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. And of course this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so how this works, okay, is that when I eliminate this group of red, okay, I'm going to eliminate the 25 and the 65 along with all the other numbers as a group. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, you can see that I have these 5 numbers off to the side. Okay, so there's 64 numbers here and 5 over here to equal 69. Okay, so this 25 shares the square with the 65. Okay, so what that means is that if I wanted to eliminate all those red numbers, again, I'm going to eliminate the 1, 9, 17, 25, 33, 41, 49, 57, and the 65 as a group. Okay, so basically that's all I'm doing is trying to guess what group of numbers will be coming up and what group of numbers won't be coming up in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this group 2, okay, and I am going to pick from this option card number 1, no red numbers, okay. So the reason why is because here, again, I like to break things down into 5 because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so if there's 3 misses here or 3 zeros, I color it as blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. So as I go through the history of things, if things have gotten really hot, well, eventually they're going to turn cold and vice versa. Okay, so since this red has been really hot, I'm going to guess that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate what's left in this red area here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to go down. And you can see down here, group 2, option card number 1, no red numbers. And you can see that all of these are gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is going to be option card number 2, no green numbers. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well. And they all look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. So for this option card number 2, I'm going to guess that no green numbers will be coming up. So here's the stats for the green. Okay, and as I go down, you can see that things got really hot down here. And now I think things are going to cool off, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate the green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. Okay, so underneath you can see group 2, option card number 2, no green numbers. Okay, so the only one left was the 29, and now that's gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's 3, and here's the red stats right here. So as I go down, you can see that things got pretty hot, and now I think that things are going to cool off, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is going to be option card number 6, no purple numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right. Okay, so here's the stats for the purple, and as I go down, you can see things got a little bit hot here. Okay, so I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see that I'm whittling down these numbers little by little. Hopefully I made all the correct picks. Okay, and hopefully the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will come up within these numbers that are still highlighted on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next one is option card number 10, no gray numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go up to option card number 10. Here's the gray, stats for the gray. As I go through, you can see that things got pretty hot. So I just think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate the gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I think the only one left is the 60. Okay, so as I scroll to the left, you can see that the 60 is gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2 for one last pick, and that's option card 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so again, I have 15 option cards total. Okay, so here's the stats for the 14. And as you can see, things got pretty hot here. So I'm just going to guess that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate the gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers. Okay, and now I'm down to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 numbers total. Okay, so if I'm correct with all my picks, again, the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should come within these 12 numbers here. Okay, and of course that really reduces my odds if I made all the correct picks. Okay, but now to really pinpoint where these numbers are, okay, I'm going to turn to my next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of numbers of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so How this works is that this 238, this is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? And out of this 238 drawings, 118 have been the majority of odd numbers, and 120 have been the majority of even numbers, okay? So I like to keep track of this stuff to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, okay? And as I move over to the right here, I'm going to guess that there's going to be more low numbers than high numbers, okay? So I think there's going to be at least 3 of them down here in this blue section and only 1 or 2 up here in the red, okay? And as I move over, I got left and right, okay? So I think there's going to be more to the right side than the left side, okay? So I think at least 3 of them will be over here in this blue side here, the right side, okay? And one last thing, I have this red and blue, okay? So since there's been 3 blue hits over here, I'm just going to guess that the majority will be to the red area. So I think more numbers will come to the red area than the blue area. Okay, so one last thing that I do have, this is for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is for this red number right here. Now there's 26 red numbers total. Okay, so in this column here, a blue number means that it's low, 1 to 13, and a red number means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so you can see that the last number is red because it was 24. Okay, so in this column here, okay, a red number means it's odds, and a blue number means that it's evens. Okay, so you can see that this was colored blue because it's an even number. Okay, so since there was 5 blue in a row, I'm just going to guess that this is going to be red. Okay, and that means that I think it's going to be an odd number. And over here, I think that this is going to be red as well. So I think the Powerball will be a high odd number. Okay. So as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so for the 50-50 picks, again, I think the majority will be more even numbers than odd numbers. I think the majority will be to the low side than the high side. I think the majority will be to the right side than the left side. And I think the majority will be to this red area and not the blue area. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to stick to group 2 here. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so I have 15 of these red areas, 15 of these blue, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of these as a whole. Okay. So I'm going to go to this group 1 because this is where I keep the overview, okay, of this group 2 here. So I'm going to scroll over, and this is what the overview of group 2 looks like. Okay, so for all the red areas, the last drawing had 10 hits and 5 misses, okay, so for a total of 15. Okay, so this helps me look at things as a group and decide what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. It's right in the middle of 15. Okay, so if there's 8 or more misses within this group of 15, then I color this blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color red for hot. Okay, so now I can look over things and decide what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think there's going to be a lot of orange hits. Okay, so I think that this is going to be red up here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I think there's going to be lots of hits in group 2 for the group orange. Okay, so here's what I do. Okay, so here's option card number 1. Okay, so as I go back to this group 2, option card number 1 in the orange area, you can see that there's a 3 and a 59. Okay, it runs from the 3 to the 59. So I write what's left on the game card. And so far it's the 11 and 51, so I wrote that over here, 11 and 51. Okay, so as I go back for option card number 2 here, you can see that it runs from the 17 to the 24. Okay, so what's left is the 18 and 22, so you can see that number 2, I wrote down the 18 and 22. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards. Okay, so, and these are the numbers that I came up with. Okay, so now I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so as I scroll over to the right, okay, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are going to be the 14, 18, 22, 46, and 47. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this will give me 10 hits and 5 misses in that orange area. Okay, so as I go back here, I think that this is going to be a 10 right here. And I think that this is going to be a 5. Okay, so it's more than 8, so I'm going to be coloring this red. Okay, so as I go back, okay, so you can see that the 18 and 22, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 18s throughout this. Okay, for this 46, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. All right, so this is how I came up with those numbers. All right, so again, the numbers I'm going with is the 14, 18, 22, 46, and 47. Okay, so when it comes to the 50-50 picks, again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. So you can see that there's 4 even and 1 odd. Okay, I thought they were going to be to the low side. So I got the 14, 18, and 22 to the low area. And then the 46 and 47 are to the high. Okay, so I thought there was going to be more to the right side than the left side. So you can see that the 14, 22, 46, and 47 are all to the right side. Okay, and I thought there was going to be more to the red area than the blue area. So you can see that the 18, 46, and 47 will give me the majority for the red area than the blue area. Okay, so again, that's how I came up with these numbers. All right, so if you're interested in my game at all, I have some info for you. You can get my game through my website. Okay, and that's www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Or you can just email me personally, and I'll email it out to you. Okay, and that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching, and best of luck with your picks.